you playoffs and everything, you guys go to the playoffs, you went out earlier than what you thought. What did you learn from the playoffs that helped you in the offseason that you bring into this season?
Yeah, I mean, I just say what it takes to kind of, be prepared for when that time comes. As a team, understanding that there's a lot of opportunities in the regular season to kind of prep for, the different situations or things that might get thrown at you in the playoffs. So just understanding that every game, there's a lesson that can be learned that could carry over to, the time that, really matters, which comes playoff time and, when you're trying to compete for a championship.
Any difference this year? You guys are picked to win the West, odds, all that. How do you handle from a mental standpoint?
I think you got to have the same mental approach, which is just taking it day by day and trying to, maximize our group, and that's not going to happen in a day. So, just understanding that we got to get better throughout the season, and there's a lot that we can learn about each other and continue to just kind of, learn so that we can be prepared, when we're trying to, do the things that we want to do.
Aaron, you obviously bring back a lot of guys from last season, but you add some pretty significant pieces too. What areas of this team are you curious to see just what you can do? I mean, obviously you haven't been on the floor altogether yet.
Yeah.
What's your sense of just, what are you curious to see as this team gets together for the first few days?
I think naturally, we've always had a very competitive team. I think adding, the couple pieces that we added though, I think that competitive nature and just, mental toughness, and there's just a level of, competitiveness that I think exists within our group, and with the guys that we added, I think that rises a level. So I'm excited just to see, how hard guys compete, starting in training camp and going throughout the season. There are a number of things that I'm looking forward to.
When you check into games, you're the kind of guy that lets the game come to you and lets the situation dictate how you're going to impact the game. A lot easier said than done. How do you do that when you approach the game and you check in? How do you know what your role is going to be in that moment?
I mean, it changes game to game. There are a number of things that the team may be lacking, to say, but I mean, I just try to be prepared for whatever situation I'm put in. So coming into the game, I'm not looking for or thinking about maybe scoring a certain number of points or anything. I'm going in there with the mindset to help the team get the outcome that we want, which is a win. So, regardless of what that looks like, I'm willing to go out there and put forth my best foot and, hopefully help my team get a W.
Aaron, can you talk about how emotional it was getting the new contract and getting the extension?
Yeah, man, it was awesome. When all of that went down, my family, they were with me. They were all by my side, and I mean, that's just an exciting moment. Everything that a lot of guys kind of dream for. Getting here, coming as the 55th pick, two-way contract, and you're trying to fight for an opportunity, and to be able to kind of live that out is a dream come true. So it was awesome being able to just be with my mom, my dad, and my siblings during that time.
Have you taken any time as you head up toward training camp to think about or talk about some of the other guys? Just looking at the additions to the team, plus now you have guys coming into a second year. You have Casey, you have guys who are just kind of growing up. How competitive it is going to be when you get to training camp. I mean, your training camp's probably going to be harder than a Tuesday night on the road, and you guys pushing each other.
Yeah.
And that competition, that level of competition, just how exciting that's going to be once you guys all get on the floor together.
Yeah, I mean, super exciting. That's one of the things that makes you as an individual better when you're in a competitive environment. You got to be tough enough, and you got to be, competitive enough to kind of, fight back and be capable of, pushing yourself to get better. So I'm super excited. As we added those new additions and kind of went throughout the summer and leading up to training camp, you have the thought of like, man, what is this team going to look like? How competitive are we going to be? And I don't think you can really imagine it. So, stepping out onto the court for training camp and going into the season it's an exciting thing to, look forward to.
Yeah, Brett, Associated Press. How have you seen Shay evolve as a leader in the last couple of years? And, how does that look now with those expectations that we've talked about?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say when I came in, Shay was a do-it type of leader where he'd show, that he was capable of, being a professional, addressing you know, certain things that might be going on in the game and stuff like that. As we've continued, you know, to kind of grow and being on the same team and stuff, he's kind of, you know, been a little bit more vocal and continue to kind of grow in that leadership role. And he does a great job, just kind of, you know, not only being a guy that we could look to, you know, in game, you know, when we need him, but, you know, also off the court and, you know, in the locker room, just being a guy that, you know, understands what it takes. I mean, he's probably one of the, 9 years in the league now. So, like, you know, he's one of those guys that's been around for a while, and he has that experience. So, you know, his leadership has continued to grow, and he's been huge for us.
Aaron, you started your career in a similar position to A.J. Mitchell. Have you had a chance to talk to him about that? And kind of what are your memories of being the new guy and trying to work your way out?
Yeah, I mean, I've had some conversations with him. Just kind of told him some of the same things that I kind of, you know, had mentally noted when I came in on a two-way contract. And I mean, he's a great player. I've seen him. I've played, you know, some pickup and stuff with him, and he looks really good. So I know that he'll be ready to go when his opportunity comes, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing how he, you know, comes into training camp and just kind of continues to grow from there.
Yeah, we've seen you in a couple different roles for this team, and just as this team evolves, as the league, and well, the style of play in the league evolves, how do you kind of like adjust to that while still staying true to your authentic game?
I mean, just kind of understanding. I mean, I think from a different perspective, my game is fitting. You know, I think you could plug me into a number of different systems, and you know, I'd be able to, you know, find a way to contribute in a winning way to a team. So, you know, regardless of the trends or the waves that are kind of going around the league, you know, in terms of, you know, what's looked at basketball wise, you know, being a guy that can kind of mold into, you know, fitting, you know, and helping his team win. So I don't know. I don't really look at everything outside of, you know, what we have going on in our system, and you know, I just try to make sure that I'm there for my team.
You got your first playoff experience last year. How does that experience change the way you prepared coming into this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think mentally you just kind of, you know, you obviously have a sour taste immediately after, you know, coming up short in the playoffs as of last year. Maybe just trying to remember that feeling and going into the season with, you know, a bit of motivation to kind of, you know, find yourself back in the same situation. And, you know, you want to push yourself to be the best. So just remembering some of those things are ways to kind of go into the season to kind of have that extra motivation. But as well as, you know, what we learned throughout, you know, the playoff series, you know, just what it takes to kind of be a great team and to win in that situation. So, you know, being able to kind of have, you know, a regular season where you have 82 games to prepare for that, and you have, you know, all the time in the world just to kind of practice what it'll take, you know, when that time comes. So, you know, we've got a smart group of guys who understand that, you know, it takes a lot to be great, and, you know, we want to be back in that position soon. So,
is the atmosphere any different being expected to be so good this year as a club?
I mean, obviously the atmosphere is a little bit different, but I think in terms of, you know, like I said, we got a smart group. In terms of the way that our group kind of perceives it, guys kind of don't allow the atmosphere to affect, you know, their mentality or their approach towards the season, towards expectations or anything like that. Everybody's kind of on one page and kind of understands that it's going to take a day-by-day, game-to-game, you know, schedule to kind of, you know, maximize our talent and, you know, find our best selves. So.
Sort of following up on a question before about the blue, what do you think it is about sort of what you guys do in the blue that sort of has this pipeline effect, because it goes back from Blue to even Caruso, guys who have had a lot of success in the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, I think the blue just kind of mimics what we do, you know, with the Thunder, and I mean, it's all some of the same things. So you're kind of getting the same practice reps. You're getting more opportunity. You might be in a different position or, you know, role, and being able to just kind of maximize, you know, some of those reps or things that, you know, can benefit a player. So, you know, kind of getting that extra, you know, look in those extra practices and things like that are very beneficial to a guy.
Thanks, Weeks.
Thank you.